How should Aaron Rodgers feel about the entire draft?
He's going to feel like every other quarterback that's had a quarterback selected in the first round when he was there. Skip, this situation is very familiar. See, I'm familiar with this situation, Skip, and I don't know how many people know this. I played with a guy in John Elway. We went to the AFC Championship game. We lost to the Buffalo Bills 10-7. And the next year in the draft, guess what they took, Skip? One Tommy Maddox in the first round. Quick question, Skip. How you think John felt about that? Now, John Elway was a very similar guy. He hadn't won a Super Bowl at that time, but he had gone to 3 Super Bowls. He was an MVP. He had gone to the Pro Bowl. He had just taken a team to the AFC Championship game. And not, you don't get someone that can help us right away. A receiver, running back. No, you take a quarterback. And that didn't go over very well. And I can assure you. Now, I know what they're saying, Skip. Jordan Love, the first person to call him was Aaron Rodgers and says, I can't wait to look for it. And I get all this, LaFleur said, you know, yada, yada. You're lying. You're lying. Trust me. I know. I was on a team with a guy that's very similar accomplished to what Aaron Rodgers is. And he was not happy that they took a quarterback in the first round. Aaron Rodgers is more upset because guess what you did, Skip? You moved up to get him. At least the Broncos, like we sit right here, you know, we sitting right here, Tommy Maddox dropping out, like, okay, we got to take a quarterback. You moved up to get the guy. You're like, hold on. When do we have this plethora of receivers? And I know you said we like those guys, Skip. There were 13 receivers taken in the first 2 rounds. You mean, Aaron Rodgers said, hold on, wait a minute. You couldn't get another receiver. You move up to take a quarterback, but you can't move up to take a receiver. Man, Aaron Rodgers said that Skip, he done probably had about 4 or 5 bottles of scotch. He's seething. I thought the Green Bay draft wasn't very good. And that's putting it mildly. Aaron Rodgers is upset. I don't care what Aaron says. He's going to say all the right things publicly because he's already kind of got this reputation of being a little salty, Skip, being hard to get along with. So he's going to say all the things correct publicly. The head coach, LaFleur, he's going to say all the things. But I think the general manager made it very clear. He's like, we consult Aaron when we made this pick. That tells you everything you need to know because we reported last year, Skip. He's like, hey, don't you be the problem, Aaron. Don't you be the problem.
Yep. So just for the record, Shannon Sharpe, Mel Kiper gave the Green Bay Packers the worst grade of all 32 teams in the draft. The worst grade. And as you know, I've never been the biggest fan of Aaron Rodgers, but by Saturday night, I was starting to feel sorry for Aaron Rodgers. This is not fair to him. In fact, this is starting to feel, remember the word I invented about Belichick versus Brady? It's starting to feel a little sabotagey going into next year where they're making it virtually impossible for Aaron to succeed next year so they can fast-track him right out the back door for the following year, or maybe 2 years, but at least sooner than later in favor of Jordan Love. Now, look, if Jordan Love turns out to be the next Patrick Mahomes, my hat's off. Like, I got no quarrel with this. But it looks like they're heading in a new direction even next year with Aaron at quarterback, because I read this from a Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel reporter who said that he had talked to an agent who said that his inside word was the Packers are moving in a new direction as a run-oriented team next year, because what player, Shannon, did they take in the next round? They took A.J. Dillon out of Boston College, who is a Derrick Henry of a big banger at almost 250 pounds. And it looks like, again, you know how big a fan I became last year of Aaron Jones. I thought he was the real Aaron MVP of the Packers. I thought he had a better year than Aaron Rodgers did last year.
Right.
And I got to meet Aaron Jones. He came up and introduced himself to me on South Beach at the Super Bowl, and he's a great young man. And again, he loves to beat up my team, the Cowboys, because he grew up a Cowboy fan in El Paso and South Texas. But the point is, maybe he should be a little concerned going into next year also, because if you look at A.J. Dillon's history at Boston College, he was a big banger, a big part of their offense, because 3 years he had huge high carries. He had 300 carries as a freshman when he was what they call the Rookie of the Year in the ACC. Then he got hurt for a couple of games, had 227 carries sophomore, and then last year he had 318 carries, and his yards went 1,600, 1,100, and 1,700 yards. So he can tote the rock, and I think that Gutekunst, the GM, and LaFleur, the head coach, are saying, well, wait a second, if we don't trust Aaron anymore to get it done, how about we start trying to do what Tennessee did to sort of supplement how much they didn't really believe yet in Ryan Tannehill. And Derrick Henry, obviously, down the stretch last year just took over game after game. So I think Aaron's going to find he'll be throwing the ball even less next year as A.J. Dillon takes over as the driving force of the offense. And then Mel Kiper concluded in his draft analysis, he didn't like any pick. In fact, that DeGuara they took, he's kind of an H-back out of Cincinnati, and I don't know him, but Mel didn't have much respect for him. And from then on, he just said, I don't see any impact pass catchers. I don't see anything. And he just couldn't figure out, to your point, how do you not take one of those receivers? There must have been 12 receivers all the way down to that SMU kid, Prochet, who Baltimore took, I think, in the 7th round. I liked him. And you tell me you can't even get him? Like, what are you doing to Aaron Rodgers? So I think the handwriting is all over the locker room walls, just scrawled, on the way out, Aaron Rodgers, thank you for playing.
Skip, there were 13 receivers taken in the first 2 rounds. And I guess what he was saying, the general manager was saying that anybody that went after those 13, we don't even know they can make our roster. Well, damn, how many Devontae Adams y'all got on y'all roster? I just see one. Now, Lazard and Kumaro and Valdez-Scantling, they get EQ, Saint coming back, Skip. But he make it seem like he got Julio and Mike Thomas on the other side of Devontae Adams. Skip, they did sign Devon Funches in the offseason. But, Skip, when I look at this, I'm like, okay, how many of these guys, Skip, of your draft? Because at some point in time, Skip, you have a draft, the guys got to contribute. Somebody's got to make a contribution this year. I'm not understanding that you get drafts and Skip, you said, okay, build it. But you going to get somewhat, if anybody going to make a contribution this year. And for me, Skip, if you want to go into a running team, hell, you could have saved yourself $80 million. Because you gave Aaron Rodgers almost $80 million fully guaranteed, and you got him on the books for another 33, 34 a year for the next 4 years. What they're doing does not make any sense to me. Now, I know Aaron is going to play the good guy because he already has, this reputation. And so he's going to I understand they're building for the future, but trust me, he's seething. He's seething because when you take a quarterback, Skip, what quarterback we know, Skip, in the history of time has been happy. Forget if he's a first rounder. When you bring it, look at Joe when they brought Steve Young on. How'd that work out, Skip? Now, here's Joe Montana, accomplished as he was. Why you bring him on? Peyton Manning never had a problem with it, Skip, because they had quarterbacks that were free agent in 10th and 11th round draft picks. But you start bringing guys, the first rounder, second round draft pick at that quarterback position, well, you got problems, Skip. You're going to have problems.
Well, again, my friend Lil Wayne hates me saying this, so I apologize once again, Wayne, for this, but I cannot tell a lie. The stats have shown over the last 4 years decline, slowly but surely decline, going south steadily, because the QBR and the completion of percentage drop, steadily dropping over the last 4 years. And I hate to say it, but I think the GM and the head coach are seeing exactly what I'm seeing. Even the percent of 20-yard completions fell dramatically last year. So in the end, I think they're just saying, It's time for him to go. It's time for us to transition. And Lil Wayne brought this up to me in a text the other day. It's highly possible that Rodgers is going to have to go Brady before he's finished, as in, thank you very much, I'll go here and I'll show you. So maybe Aaron's bound to finish somewhere besides Green Bay. He's 36 now.
Yeah.
Maybe a year or two more in Green Bay, and then maybe at 38, he says, hey, Jacksonville, whoever it is, yeah, let's start over there and let me show these clowns up in Green Bay what I still have left.
Yeah, Skip, that's how it works. I mean, once you saw Joe Montana and some of the all-time greats have to finish their career, Brett Favre, or Emmitt Smith, or Jerry Rice, Skip, once you start seeing these all-time greats, nobody, and now Tom Brady, as accomplished as he is having to take his show on the road. So Aaron Rodgers knows that he's not special. I mean, not in the eyes of you, Skip, he's transcendent. But there's a likelihood, a very good chance, if he wants to continue to play, as long as he believes he can, he's probably going to have to do that for another team.
Thank you for watching. You can subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few other segments from our other shows on FS1.